Moving on to number 5 for the almighty Christina is a show that still talked about and did very, very successful for HBO. The almighty Game of Thrones. I have a couple things to chime in on, but your selection, Christina, go for it.
So yeah, I actually, when this first came out, I was in my college years. I did not watch the show at all until literally, I think it was 2020 or 2021. I started watching it and I fell in love with it immediately. And I've seen bits and pieces of it before, but once you get into it, it's madness. It's really madness. And I love that type of just, kind of victory. Like, I don't know. And then Peter Dinklage is amazing in it too. I don't know. It's just one of those shows you got to watch. I will say the new, what is it? The spinoff, the
House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Don't save yourself the time. Don't watch it.
I quit at episode 4 when it went woke. I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's horrible. Horrible.
Dave, I'll save mine for last.
So I almost included this on my list. And I'm sorry. I know we talked about with Dexter, but that ending, I feel like the ending of this was worse than the ending of Dexter because this actually did ruin everything that came before it. I loved the show. It was like the best of the best high fantasy. Peter Dinklage was amazing. But I think the second, when they got to the end of season 4 and they started going off book because George Martin wasn't writing fast enough, it kind of started digging its own grave. And where the writers were kind of in a rush to end it. So if we're just talking seasons 1 through 4, this is easily in like my top 5. But with everything that comes after that, this was an honorable mention that's maybe number 11 or 12 for me.
Scotty, you being over there especially, what's your thoughts?
Oh man, like it was so good. Like, and the production was brilliant. Like everything, the storyline. Like when Joffrey died, everybody was like, "Fuck yeah," you know what I mean? And it was brilliant. And then that ending, you're right. Like Dexter was bad, and Game of Thrones just. I sat there at the end going, like, just.
You could write a thesis on how terrible that ending was.
It just. I felt like it portrayed the character of Daenerys. I don't know about in the books, like where she actually went, but I was just gutted because she was such a good leader. And so, yeah, she did have like some jealousy and stuff like that. But, for the most part, she was quite solid. And then it was just like, I felt like they did her dirty.
Because they didn't take the time to... I feel like having her go that way...
You're talking about the ending for Khaleesi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So once again, that proves women can't ever be a president. I just have to say, like, I was just like, really?
But if you look,
Cool.
So the earlier, there's hints that she could become a mad queen. And if that's the way you wanted to go, that's fine. But you got to lay the groundwork and sow your seeds and let it, for a show that let things build naturally, those last 2 seasons were like a mile a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
it was
feel
definitely
that-
rushed.
Yeah, I felt like at the end it was just kind of like, oh, she's gone into that sort of madness, and I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Like, she was doing okay.
So let me seesaw what I think of what Game of Thrones is. I kept hearing about this show. They're like, "Oh, you love medieval shit so much. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this." So when the last season, I think it was 7, was coming, I was like, I'm gonna binge all of this. It's 2020. Nothing's going on. Get into this. Try to be a part of society for a little bit here and be able to actually talk about something current. I watched this episode 1, and I'm like, this really better pick up. Here's what every Game of Thrones episode was to me. Someone dies brutally. Naked girl for no reason in the background. A penis in the background for no reason. Peter Dinklage is funny. and a dragon flies by, and there's the credits. That is basically, when you say Game of Thrones, that's the sum of what I think it is. I have to tell you, with the biggest stern back I have, I could care less about every Stark. The one girl at the end that takes out the white, whatever, she was the only one that grew. That redheaded girl, I didn't remember her name. I just wish she would die every week.
Sounds like
we got a Lannister sympathizer here.
Not at all. I didn't, and then I think it was season 3. Like, they kill the king's like wife and the son at the bar, and I'm like, I don't care at all. You can keep killing all these people, but there's a gem that kept me going with this. I do have some comments. That first off, the actor that played King Joffrey, what an actor! Because wow, was he annoying. Oh my God, I just couldn't wait for that the kid to go. What a freaking brilliant actor. I really did like Aquaman. Like those first 8 episodes, I was like, oh, he's gonna die and come back, and I was like, okay, he's not coming back. I thought that was cool. But the one character in this show that is so, this is how I really walk around if I see shit, and this is what I want to say. The freaking Hound, to me, is still alive. He landed somewhere else. He's not really dead. That's how much I love the Hound's character. I could go to YouTube and put in the best the Hound and all his clips of what he says for 6 minutes, and I could just replay that and be laughing better than any comedy I've ever seen.